Hey everybody, it's Dave here, and welcome to the Vikings Daily SITREP. Today, Jayson and I are talking about briefly the decision to play the starters against the Chicago Bears on Sunday in a basically meaningless game. We know it's Mike Zimmer's decision. He wants to go out with a bang, but is it the right one? Or should the organization be playing backups like an exhibition game? Also, we'll highlight friend of the show's Luke Braun's fantastic post-mortem article on this season. It is time for Climbing the Pockets Vikings Daily SITREP.
All right, yeah, we're back once again. Another episode of Vikings Daily SITREP. And if you don't know, these are going to be daily shows with myself, Jayson, and producer Dave, coming on here to talk about all that's going on in the world of the Vikings. Some shows will be light, some shows will be fired up, but really what we want to do is go through everything that's going on in the world of Vikings Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, the blogosphere, and just bring you something that got us fired up or something we just felt like talking about. Some of the time it's going to be about what's going on with the team. Other times it's just going to be a silly article that we found that we want to share and we think you should read too. Today, and it feels like piling on a bit, but today I want to talk about Mike Zimmer. I want to talk about Rick Spielman. I want to talk about Kirk Cousins. Not really Kirk Cousins. Mostly Mike Zimmer and Rick Spielman. Right after the game, in the wake of the embarrassing performance the Vikings put up against the Green Bay Packers, we were talking about who we think should start the next game. And it feels like the consensus amongst most fans, at least from what I'm seeing, is that Kellen Mond should be given an opportunity to prepare for the full week as a starter, get all the reps, get out there, install a game plan that plays to what he does well, and give him an opportunity to perform with live reps against a real opponent and get further evaluation. Obviously, the coaches see him every day. They have a feeling of what he is and isn't capable of. Zimmer's been explicit in that, and if you haven't seen yesterday's video, maybe a bit too explicit in that in terms of how he feels about Kellen Mond's being prepared to get out there against an NFL opponent. But in his last press conference, he went out and did the thing that I predicted he would do. I said, whatever the decision that is the dumbest decision the Vikings could make, it is the one they will make. And alas, on the same day that both starting tackles are out on the COVID list, Zimmer announces that he would like to play all of his starters in what is essentially a meaningless game against the Chicago Bears. He would like to put our very expensive, potentially tradable quarterback on the field against a division rival who hates us and would love nothing more than to crush our quarterback out there in a game that means nothing, potentially without the two most important parts of our offensive line.
3/5 of that offensive line is out.
3/5 of that offensive line.
Also,
Ezra Cleveland was also there.
COVID.
I forgot your boy. That's my bad. And when I heard that, it basically led me to the conclusion that if the Wilfs are in fact thinking about making changes, Zimmer and Rick should not be allowed to make any decisions about anything important at all moving forward. Their password should be taken away. Their keys should be taken. And at the end of the day, if we're talking about the coach trying to do some dumb shit like what he's talking about doing now, they just need to make the move now. They need to let him know and start the interview process because this is crazy. Like, it really doesn't make sense.
All because of the new protocols. All those guys and Eric Kendricks, who was put on it yesterday on the defensive side, which I think is the last of the unvaxxed players on the team. All those guys can be back and playing if they get their 2 negative tests, at the 5-day mark. Then they're going to go in there, and as I said in our group chat this morning, Mike wants to start all the starters. He wants to go out there and win, right? He's treating this as a normal game. Well, the problem is it's not a normal game. Both teams are eliminated from the playoffs. Both teams look to be firing their head coaches and their GMs. This is nothing more than an exhibition game. It's a garbage time game, right? And it is the ultimate in garbage time, which means the starters will go out there. Kirk Cousins will throw for 350 yards, 4 touchdowns, and he will pad his stats bigger than all get out, and it will be all for nothing. And none of us will get to see Kellen Mond after a week of practice. None of us will get to see Wyatt Davis after he's put in there in a week of practice, right? All that what we want as a fan, we're not going to see, and
don't
it's going to screw up our draft choice. Because
at this point, we understand Kellen Mond, Wyatt Davis, they're probably not very good. And the coaches clearly don't think they're very good. But like Dave said, this is an exhibition game. This is essentially a regular season, preseason game. Mm-hmm. It doesn't actually matter, and everyone looks to be getting fired after this game. And with that in mind, Zimmer wants to go out on a high note for pride or whatever, but the Vikings, for better or worse, shouldn't care about any of that. Shouldn't care about Zimmer's pride. Shouldn't care about him going on at a high note. They should care about what's best for the team as you roll things forward. And I remember last year, there was all of these people writing all of these articles about, oh my God, the Eagles didn't try to win a game. Oh my goodness, winning culture is going to destroy everything in this franchise and blah, 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 blah. And look at the Eagles coming back, figuring things out with their young quarterback. They're in playoff position.
Mm-hmm.
All of that stuff that people were writing about sanctity of the game was bullshit. And so, like, the Vikings need to go out there and do this for the sanctity of the game or any of that nonsense. Get out of here. The Vikings need to do what's best to put them in the best possible position for next year, which is both evaluate the youth on your team and potentially also set yourself up for a slightly better draft pick. And so that's where I'm at with it. Yes. That's really all I got to say.
Evaluate the
Take
players
their keys,
and
change
lose.
the passwords, get them up out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Is where I'm at.
Nope, I agree with you. That's the way it should go. Evaluate them and lose. Do that, I'm happy.
Well, that's
it won't happen.
That's all. That's all I got to say. And I guess for, if you haven't, I'm sure that you all, if you're following this show, you probably also follow Locked On Vikings. But Luke Braun wrote an amazing article for Zone Coverage, basically outlining how the Vikings went out exactly how they deserved. He breaks down all of the things that went wrong with the team, both in the game and across the entire season. If you haven't read it already, please check it out. We will drop the link for that in the show notes. And that's it. That is all. That's all I got. Dave, anything else?
Yes, tonight we have an In the Huddle show. Want you to join. The good Dr. Eric Eager is joining us tonight to do his, I want to say eulogy. I got that from Matt Collar this morning on the 2021 Vikings season, and it should be lit.
Oh, wow, David, look at here. Look at Dave digging into the slang box from a couple of years ago, but we'll allow it. Well, that's it, y'all. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, ring the bell. David, play the music.
Go Vikings!
Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and ring the bell. And if you're listening on your favorite aggregator, make sure you rate us. And always feel free to join the conversation here at Climbing the Pocket.
Skol, everybody.